Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Black Knight Gaming. We're here today with a 2.5 skull battle mission on the Tundra, working for the Capellans again unfortunately, but taking a travel contract that will hopefully lead into some nice pirate work coming up next. So we're back with what's becoming a bit of a familiar lance for us at the moment. Two quick draws, one sporting LRMs, one sporting SRMs, a blackjack with double AC2 and triple medium laser loadout, and a Vindicator with a large 2 mediums and, 3 mediums and a small laser, as well as all of these mechs being up-armored with the Blackjack the only exception. It's only partially up-armored. The rear especially is very lightly armored on this mech, and the intention being that this is just our long-range fire support, and our quick draws and our Vindicator will be able to pull most of that fire and get most of the work done. Yeah, so with that said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, we're back, and my apologies to everyone. We are in fact working against the Capellans rather than for them, which is always my preference anyway, but we are working for the local government, which won't have any long-lasting impact on any of our reputation scores, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we do, I did confirm, we do have several local pirate missions that are available to pick from for our next engagement, and will be hopefully getting us a better deal when that nice black market event comes around. And the time on that is random, but for those of you who aren't aware, basically planets with black markets have additional mechs, additional parts, some cases SLDFs, Star League Defense Force variants of mechs that aren't available in standard missions or shops for that matter, that you can purchase. And we want to buddy up the pirates, so the price for gaining entry and maintaining access to those shops is as cheap as can be. So we're moving up the Vindicator. I'm tempted to go just a little bit closer, see if we can stay inside the long range for those medium lasers. Doesn't look like we're quite successful, but we do have a decent shot on this blackjack, and if we look down here, yeah, long range, so we're not in the extreme range, and if we go over this way, well, it's obstructed, which is why that chance to hit is lower. So let's just go ahead and open fire, start off this engagement by peppering that blackjack. And this is BJ1DB, which rather than the, well, ballistic loadout of our own blackjack BJ1, this blackjack 1DB carries 2 larges and 2 medium lasers. It runs significantly hotter, but doesn't have the drawback of relying on ammunition like ours does. So we'll be moving up our 2 quick draws, and the LRM quick draw can stay a little bit farther away if we still have good accuracy with those medium lasers. What I don't want to have happen is to have either one of the quick draws be taking all of the fire at once. We've had some experience in the past with this where the quick draw SRM will be driven up a little bit too close and will just take the entire opposing lance's return fire, and that puts the quick draw out of commission a bit quicker than I'm comfortable with. So we'll try to have a more split front line than we have had before, and we're getting nice, although scattered damage on that blackjack. We should be able to take it out well, not too much longer. And what I'm tempted to do, although that blackjack does have some heat reduction that would be nice to get rid of, what I'm tempted to do is to move up the Vindicator and to take a precision strike on that blackjack, allow us to fire in with our Vindicator, but also with Medusa here in our own blackjack, with the goal of ripping off one or both of those side torsos before that blackjack has a chance to open fire with those dual large lasers. Each one of those large lasers doing far too much concentrated damage for me to be comfortable with that outcome. Now, it does look like we have reinforcements, and this is kind of where the trope of Darius being the worst intelligence officer known to man comes from, is he did put that up on our mission objectives after we were already fired upon by the reinforcing lance, and there's only 9 structure here left in that right torso, so if we can open fire and get some good scattering, we can maybe, just maybe, there were some orange numbers, it looked like we might have opened up that arm as well. So the long range PPC coming in, missing both of the quick draws. We will be rotating around counterclockwise almost from that enemy fire. Try to keep them at long range and with poor visuals for as long as possible before having them close into any sort of effective range. We get lucky. The PPC, which was most of the damage from that Griffin, missing wide on the Vindicator, which did have 3 evasion pips, and finally we do take some damage on the quick draw LRM. from that trebuchet, which, man, the PPC variant of the trebuchet is not very common, so it's a little bit unlucky. But now what we're going to be doing is moving up the quick draw SRM and just ripping right into this blackjack. Quad medium laser, SRM 6, just doing the most that we can, and we do rip off the right torso and right arm, so that blackjack's armament now is down to half of what it was before, and so we only have the one large and the one medium laser coming in, both landing on the quick draw SRM, so we will be, well, let's take a look at where our own quick draw was damaged. It looks like that was a right torso hit, so well, I don't want to expose the back. It looks like our CT also took some pretty heavy fire, so we'll be moving, well, not great evasion. Okay, so I think what the plan should be is to move up around this side, get 3 evasion pips, get nice, good accuracy on those LRM-10s, and deny visual range to as many of their mechs as possible before firing into this blackjack, which hopefully we'll be able to cord out, and we do take that blackjack out of commission. That's 1/3 of the starting opposing lance, and now we just have to hunt down this griffin and whatever this third mech is over here as well. So I'm almost tempted to let them move first, to reserve. Yeah, and I think we will. We'll reserve down to round 2 and let them kind of come to us. So they do strip that last evasion pip from the quick draw, which could be deadly if that griffin decides to open up with its PPC on the quick draw. And, oof. Okay, so we take another long distance PPC shot, and those cross-map PPCs are really not making me happy here. So I mentioned before, a couple episodes ago, I need to learn to uncluster my mechs, that's why. So we have a stray shot come in and pop the Vindicator, and we've taken not 1, not 2, but 3 separate PPC hits this same round. So the trebuchet coming up into visual range, opening fire on the quick draw, adding in a 4th PPC, and you know, they kind of organize these lances into different themes, and I'm beginning to get a bit of an inkling as to what the theme for this lance was. So we'll be moving up with the Vindicator, and let's see, so the trebuchet has lighter armor, AC5 PPC, LRM-10 PPC, so it's more lightly armored, and has a stronger loadout, but we have better chances to hit the griffin. But I think the trebuchet still should be our priority. We do get lucky, land the large, land everything actually, and we rip off that AC5, destroying the AC5 ammunition, and it looks like we actually take all 3 of those weapons out of commission. Now this mech is not dead, and we should still treat it as deadly. And the reason we should still treat it as deadly is because mechs in this game that have lost all of their primary armaments become sometimes kamikaze melee mechs. So that's the last thing we want. We will be opening up into the side of this trebuchet, try to get as much fire as we can on the CT here, which we don't get much. That's a little bit unfortunate. So now I think the plan should be we take the quick draw LRM and we move up. It's hard to get an unobstructed shot on this trebuchet, but here it is. So we can open up the 4 medium lasers in the LRM-10 and just see what we can do. See if we can take this mech from badly damaged to out of commission as quickly as possible. That's a lot of damage to the CT, pounding it down to 3 armor left and still 80 internal structure, which is quite a bit. So we have a damaged, let's see, a damaged left torso on this mech. That's going to be hard to deal with because most of the fire is coming in from the left-hand side. So I think we will rotate up, and although this does expose our left side a little bit, my plan is to move up next round to behind this griffin. And the way we're going to try to achieve that, we have 2 options. 1, we can take a precision strike. 2, we could use vigilance, but I think the better choice is go in for the precision strike on the griffin, and we have excellent chances to hit on whatever we please. So let's take a look here. That left torso holding jump jets, and the left arm maybe not holding anything. Yeah, the right arm and the right torso holding both of the armament for this mech, so we will try to come in. We could go for the head, 4% chance to hit, but I think we'll be going in for the left leg, almost 70% chance to hit that leg, and we'll be trying to just put this mech down on the ground, so we get some, well, about 50-50 clustering on the leg and the arm, less than ideal. But now it's our turn again, and we'll be moving up, well, okay, so let's move up the blackjack. That's an obstructed shot, so let's see if we can get an unobstructed shot, and we don't have great options. I'm a little bit worried about moving over too far this way and having the blackjack start to take PPC rounds just like the other mechs have been doing. You can see that second lance is now coming within sensor range, soon to be within visual range. So let's open up on the trebuchet. That's a lot of orange there, and we do core that mech out. So now we just have the Griffin moving on initiative 2 at the moment. If we come in with another precision strike, we could try to make that down to 1. Let us get in fire with the other 3 mechs in our lance, and I think that might be a good decision, because if we come in this way, and we really just concentrate fire on this one side as much as possible, we could put this mech down into knocked over and, well, a very vulnerable position there. And the sooner we take out this mech, the sooner they lose visual contact on our lance. Because this first lance and the reinforcements are on the same team, they do share at least sensor range, if not visual range. I'm not entirely sure. I know BattleTech, which is a conversion mod, does separate those, but I'm not sure if they are separate in the base game. So that right torso really taking a pounding. This is easier to protect, so we will be moving over and left facing against this Griffin, just moving a little bit farther back so we have good accuracy on the LRM-10s, and we'll be left facing but trying to prevent a rear arc shot from those approaching mechs as well. So pounding in fire on this one side of this Griffin yet again. Hopefully we'll be able to, destroy that left leg, and the Griffin will still go next turn, which means it probably will stand up and have a chance to either shoot or punch, but we do have a pilot injury, and most importantly, we're halfway to a mech kill if we can leg the mech on the other side as well. So let's move up, make sure we're still getting great evasion on this other quick draw, and this quick draw has its left side injured, so we're going to be trying to at least center face, right face if we can, which is why we're coming around this way. We'll approach that second reinforcing lance from that right hand side with the quick draw SRM, protects our damaged side. So there's not really any point to opening up either one of these arms. We only have 30% chance to hit. Yeah, I think we will go right for that CT. We likely won't be able to destroy it all this round unless we get some very lucky criticals, but I did see orange there, so hopefully we've exposed that CT, and this should be a relatively quick pilot kill from here on out. Okay, so that mech jumped, opened up, landed a PPC after jumping on one leg, mind you. Very impressive. Great pilot there, unfortunately for us. And okay, so the orange that we had on the previous round was just on that already exposed left arm. The CT still sitting pretty at 20 armor and not yet having exposed structure. So we would have 75 damage coming in here from a melee, but I think what we want to do, we'll be moving up to the blackjack, see if we can still center face that approaching lance, and we're going to be slowing this Griffin down to initiative 2. Maybe not the best decision, but we do crit that PPC, and I just want to have everything else move first, and basically delay the threat of this Griffin as long as possible. So good chances to hit on the large laser, and we could get close enough that we have the small as well. So if we meleeed, well, let's see. I'm looking for that second evasion pip, is what's taking me a second here. So our left side is damaged. Let's see if we can right side face just a little bit more. And, well, we are scattering damage all over this mech now, but let's just go for it. Give him the large, give him the 3 mediums and the small, see what we can do. Another head hit, that's a second pilot injury. Gunner pilots would have either 3 or 4 probably available pilot injuries before we incapacitate them from that, which in my opinion makes it not all that useful. I've mostly been able to take mechs out of commission either through hitting the head or through lagging repeatedly, more than I'm able to take out pilots through pilot injuries. One way that you can kind of do it is with, not spamming, but let's say, enthusiastic use of missiles, particularly LRMs, landing a lot of small damage missiles all over the mech, scattering damage that you don't really get all the way through it, and knocking the mech over once or twice through focusing fire with several LRM boats. That's really the only way that I've ever taken out mechs with
Waiting for orders.
with pilot incapacitated methods here. So we'll be moving up the quick draw, getting as much accuracy as we can on that LRM-10. We're building a lot of heat on this quick draw. I'd kind of hoped to take that Griffin out a little bit faster, but it is down now, and we're back to sensor contact only with the opposing lance. So this gives us a little bit of time to rest a little bit, not fire those medium lasers on the quick draw LRM, and, well, let's see, can we get a good shot? I don't want to move this blackjack up alone, so we could, yeah, okay, so this is going to be the plan then. We move up the Vindicator as well. Has more armor than the Griffin, sorry, not the Griffin, the blackjack. Only able to fire the large laser, and it might actually be a better idea to drop a sensor lock. Well, okay, this is Cicada is moving on Initiative 3. What happened, for those of you who aren't familiar with some of the quirks of this game at the moment, are that the Cicada, so the reinforcing lance was far enough away, it actually dropped us out of combat, which allowed the Cicada to move up into combat, and then promptly have an Initiative 3 move, which is, in my opinion, a little bit, well, cheap. It's kind of the AI cheating a little bit, but it's really whoever has light mechs cheating a little bit. So we could have done the same thing if we had Initiative 2 or Initiative 3 mechs, or good enough pilots to raise our mech initiative just a little bit. So this is Cicada. Not really too worried about. I don't know what that is, but something over here was shooting PPCs at us, and that needs to be found and stopped as quickly as possible. We do have sensor lock on this blackjack, which will probably be necessary because there's just so many evasion pips on that Cicada. But before we do that, let's see, because we might be able to take the quick draw LRM. We don't have sensor lock, but we can fire that LRM-10, see if we can strip a little bit of evasion from that Cicada before we look again at our hit chances for the blackjack. So not great, not great. Okay, and we have, this is the mech with the heavily damaged left torso, so we will be moving up into the trees here and, well, right facing as much as possible for this turn. We'll eventually be collapsing on these two mechs over here, but for right now, just brace in those trees, get as much good damage reduction as we can, and I think the play will be, for right now, move up, but too low chances to hit to shoot, so we'll be sensor locking the Cicada and focusing fire here on our next round. So we get to move. The Cicada also moves to turn 3, and if it moves again, it can just refresh all of those evasion pips that we managed to strip from it. But what we can do instead is we can move up the Vindicator and still make sure that we're kind of center facing towards those reinforcements. And we'll take a precision strike, slow the Cicada down to Initiative 2, and it's a Cicada. It's not that heavily armored. We're going to go for the CT, see if we can just rip right through it really quickly, and take one of those lighter armored mechs off the board. Again, even if that takes us out of combat and they have another chance to move up, I'm getting tired of those mechs taking pot shots at us from a range that we can't return fire. So we'll move up the blackjack again and take another precision strike, slow this mech down to turn 1, which may not be necessary if we're firing from the side. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to hope, we're going to save our accuracy bonus by not using precision strike, and we're going to hope that we are able to leg this mech, which may not work, but, well, and it doesn't. Okay, that's unfortunate, but, okay. PPC shot coming in, pegging the Vindicator, structure exposed, which is less than ideal, and let's see where that is. That's the left torso, so we could lose the arm. Those PPCs just chew through so much armor at once, they're really hard to deal with before you have something that is heavier than a Vindicator taking that fire. But I think, well, we're not able to open up their medium lasers, which is a problem. But we will be moving the quick draw with the damaged right torso. Well, is that right or left? Apologies. Yeah, damaged right torso. And coming up over this way, opening fire with the LRM-10, just hoping to land a couple nice crits. If we land one on the right torso of that Cicada, we could rip off that arm. Let's just see if we can get a little bit lucky here. We destroy the right torso, we destroy the right arm. That's a side torso destroys. The pilot does have one injury, and most importantly, we have nice, easy access into the center torso of that mech, which is only hanging on with 35 structure. So now we'll be moving up with the quick draw SRM. This is a little bit aggressive, but we will be right facing as much as we can. And, well, so no line of sight, nothing in range to shoot at the Cicada. Well, okay, there's a second Cicada and an assassin. So which one's shooting PPC? The Cicada is shooting the PPC. That's a rare sight, but alright, so we have to deal with it. So let's open fire on that Cicada, not the best chances to hit. but even the one medium laser that makes it through does rip right through that Cicada's paper-thin armor, and I think the next choice will be to move our Vindicator. And what we're trying to do here is just get a facing that saves that left torso, and get a little bit more evasion back on this mech. So we'll be right side facing to the approaching lance, and we only have a large laser to use here, but we will use it. Yeah, we will. Let's slow this Cicada down, the one with the PPC. Buy ourselves a little bit of extra time before we take that, well, risk taking that large hit again. And okay, so the one that we've already been fighting with moves up, gets a nice center lock on this Vindicator. They want this mech pretty badly, it looks like. And now we have a decision, because we can come up and shoot at the already damaged Cicada with 35 internal structure, or we could try to take that PPC off the board, but I don't think we have great chances of doing that without really lucky clustering. So I think the better move right now is to open fire, well, bird in the hand versus two in the bush. So we take the Cicada out. There's only one Cicada and one assassin, and apparently one unknown mech. That's rather unexpected. I guess maybe they're hanging back behind the main lance. It could be a heavy, which would be relatively bad for us, but that does explain why I thought I had seen two PPC shots coming in, not just the one before this. So we'll move up this way. Keep it left facing to save the right torso that's been injured on the LRM quick draw. And maybe we should have moved, yeah, so we should have moved the SRM quick draw first. Gotten those medium lasers to open fire on that Cicada before it gets evasion, but it only gets one pip, missing with its own PPC, and now we can really turn up the pressure a little bit. So we'll be moving forward with our quick draw SRM, making sure, well, so now both of our both of our side torsos are injured. This is not really where we want to be, and as much as I want this Cicada PPC off the board, our hit chances are just so much better on the assassin. Let's see if we can cheat that a little bit. And we can. 3 medium lasers finding that Cicada. Alright, so a lot of scattered structure exposed, not really what you want, but we can come up again, and the Cicada's already moving at round 2, so we could slow the assassin down, or we could just take the shot on this Cicada, move in with the Vindicator as well if the assassin goes, and try to take this mech out. So we do take out a leg, that Cicada is knocked down, moving at initiative 1, and giving us free what amounts to precision strikes, while that Cicada is, well, yet to recover. The assassin jumps, and we will be taking the quick draw SRM back, I think, next turn, rotating him out of combat, because we have, well, okay, so neither one of those shots came in on either of those torsos, but even just a medium laser would be able to get through most of the remaining structure, and a follow-up laser shot, sorry, missile shot, rather, would be able to do quite a bit more work than I'm comfortable with. So we'll move up the Vindicator, take a shot on that downed Cicada. We're at still long range with those medium lasers, which is why our accuracy is so terrible, but with a 70% chance to hit, we do core that mech out. And now I guess we're hunting 2 mechs. Maybe there's a problem. It might be sometimes the mechs get deployed outside of the map, which can cause some issues, but that mech has been running away from us so much we still don't have our medium lasers online from our LRM quick draw. And the quick draw SRM, I think, well, so that's a pretty good bit of accuracy there. I think what we'll do, we'll move up, and we'll slow this assassin down to moving on turn 2. Let both of our medium mechs come in and fire at it, see if we can take this mech out before it has a chance to shoot at our heavily damaged mechs yet again. So we're moving up to, well, stay in the water, why not? Get a little bit of extra cooling, although we don't really need it on this mech. Ever since we ripped out that 4th medium laser and put in another heat sink, we've been running a bit cool, especially on polar biomes, but, you know, I guess why not. So right facing the Vindicator to save that exposed left torso, and, well, we don't see the other mech, so let's just go ahead and use another one, slow this assassin down to initiative 1, and really just give ourselves time to completely take it out of the fight. If we get, well, 8 more medium laser shots with decent accuracy, we should be able to do that, and we don't even need it. So that assassin is out of the fight now, and we're somehow still in combat. Okay, so I don't see anyone else. I guess we'll go... Oh, okay. Yeah, so that mech did deploy outside the map. Less than ideal, and I think for right now, we'll just kind of move up, get some good evasion, and see what we can do, because we still need to kill it in order for the mission to be successful, but I'm not entirely sure if we'll even be able to target it if it's outside the map. We might be able to. It's really kind of hard to say, so let's reserve, let's move up the quick draw LRM, and we do have a line of fire on an enforcer. Okay. A large laser, small laser, AC-10. It's quite deadly. So let's open up. We land most of our missiles, and this enforcer isn't able to move because it has no valid moves, right? Because everywhere it could go is not allowed space. Because of that glitch spawn. So we'll move up with the blackjack, keep it long range right now, just open up the two AC-2s. Now it also has long range, so we will be having that large laser come in. And I think what that means is that we'll keep the quick draw SRM out of this fight. We shouldn't need it to get through this mech with relative ease, and if either one of those large lasers hits our damaged side torsos, we're going to be in a world of pain, much more so than we want. So we'll move this quick draw up, keep him out of the fight, and it is the opponent's turn. Let's see what he's deciding not to shoot. Yeah, this is unfortunate, but you know, every good game has its flaws. This one's no different. So we'll be shooting, slow this thing down to initiative 2 for next round, and just see if we can core this thing out, and end what is a bit of an embarrassing end to an otherwise really good mission, right? Two full, well, not two full lances, but two lances, some heavy long-range pressure coming in from those PPCs the entire time. Made for quite a challenge. So let's see if we can move up a little bit, get those medium lasers in a bit better range, and we have only 2 rounds left, well, 2 volleys rather, left with the LRM-10, but that should hopefully be enough, scattering those medium lasers a little bit more than I would like. And let's just brace the quick draw SRM. So it's our turn to go again, and we'll move up with the blackjack. Yeah, okay, so let's slow this thing down to initiative 1. Let our quick draw LRM have its turn to fire as well, because this enforcer is proving remarkably resilient to letting us get an easy kill. But if we can rip off its right arm, we can take that AC-10 right out of commission. It looks like the large laser is on the left side of that mech, but I'm more worried about the AC-10. That 60 damage coming in, it is a bit more than the large lasers. So we destroy the right arm, we destroy the right torso, and it shouldn't be long now before we're able to crit this poor little helpless mech and just end this deployment. So thank you guys for the patience. We'll be out of this one in just a sec. I was trying to get an angle on its already damaged right-hand side, but I wasn't able to find anything that gave me 2 evasion pips. So, you know, take what you can get. So we crit the large laser. This enforcer really only has 14 internal structure. If we were close enough with a quick draw LRM, we'd be able to finish that right now, but as it is, that mech is still deciding not to fire. So hopefully we're able to finish it off with our own blackjack. Certainly the Vindicator can do the job. And we core out that mech, and that will end this deployment. We'll be right back with the mission reward screen.
Mission successful.
Alright, so here we are with the mission reward screen. Nice payout from this, 653,000. We do have some light internal structure damage to the Vindicator, only 6 points of internal structure. I'd be surprised if this takes more than a day or two to repair, and we do have 2 pieces of select salvage. Not really as much as I was hoping for in terms of getting us, well, I was hoping to get another heavy mech before we go into the next campaign mission, but we still have another opportunity for that. And I think it might be a good idea to grab 2 of these Griffin parts, because will finish that mech, give us another one as a spare, which will let us kind of roll through these missions without as much damage. Okay, so the Griffin is completed. Unfortunately, our next mech bay upgrade still needs 10 more days, so we have to decommission something. And this is a stock trebuchet that we got, actually from a different mission. Reward scavenge, and I think we will replace it with the Griff 1N. I kind of like this mech a little bit better than the trebuchet. The trebuchet is nice for long-range fire support, but well, I don't know. Griffin's a classic. You can't really go wrong. So we will store the trebuchet, And that'll be it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back with another episode shortly.